Welcome back to the Evan Phillips Show, guys. In this episode, we're going to be asking the question, does it hurt my credit? So please stay tuned, and I hope you guys enjoy this episode. All right, guys. So in this episode, we're asking the simple question, will it hurt my credit? So we're going to cover two specific topics today. One is hard inquiries, and the second one is soft inquiries. So anytime you go to apply for something, I'm pretty sure most people understand that there's a credit pull, but there's a little bit more to it than that. What does all of this mean? So let's talk about soft pulls first. Soft pulls do not hurt your FICO score, okay? So there are things like advertisements you may receive in the mail. So something like this, right? So the reason you get this in the mail is because companies soft pull your credit. And if they see things they like, then they will advertise to you and hope that you'll bite, right? So this is the desire for the company. They've done a soft pull. They can see, you're pretty good with credit in most cases, and they're taking a risk to lend to you. Another soft pull would be if you applied for a job and they needed to confirm your information. They may look at your credit and these sort of things. It's not going to hurt your FICO score to do this, but it will give them an understanding of your background. Another reason you may get a soft pull in your credit would be if let's say you already have a credit card or line of credit, and the lender wants to increase that amount, right? So you may suddenly see that you had $5,000 available in your credit card and now it's up to $9,000. So a soft inquiry is another way that they would be able to make this decision. Now let's talk about the opposite of that, a hard pull on your credit, right? So this is typically something that you would go and apply for. So if you apply to, purchase a home or a vehicle or a credit card at a store, these are hard inquiries on your credit, and it will have some impact on your score. Now, a hard pull on your credit would be, like I said, a credit card. Nowadays, even your cell phone. So if you go to Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, etc., they're going to want to do a hard pull on your credit, as everyone else will, to make sure you're credit worthy. So this is another tactic that they would use. Another time that you will face a hard inquiry would be if you are renting an apartment or renting a home from someone and they want to pull your credit. They're going to want to review your credit and see obviously what things look like. So hard inquiries do impact your credit. I wouldn't necessarily say negatively. Yes, you will see a drop in your score, but from my experience, there's a limit to the amount that you're going to want to do this in a 12-month rolling period. I would say in 12 months, you wouldn't want to pull your credit more than 6 times. So if you apply for a vehicle this year, you purchase a home and you get a credit card and maybe a couple other things, you really don't want to start hitting yourself too much. Now, let's talk about the credit breakdown, right? So remember, we talked about this in prior videos. 10% of your FICO score is based on new credit. So getting new credit is not a bad thing. Lenders do want to see that you are able to still get approved and that you're continuing to be responsible in your journey. Now, this can also look bad as well. If you have too many inquiries, it could also mean that you are very needy and reliant upon credit. And in times of an economic downturn, you may be more risky to lend to, so that could change some of the terms depending on the rating of your FICO. Now, let's talk about some benefits of being able to pull your credit with a hard pull. So for those people who are purchasing a home or purchasing a vehicle, these sort of things, there are some allowances built into pulling your credit. So let's say that you apply at Wells Fargo for a mortgage loan, and then you apply at another bank for the same thing, a mortgage loan. It's not going to negatively impact you as long as it's within 30 days. So as long as you're still within that time frame, it's not going to count against you again. Same thing with a vehicle loan. So let's say that you went to Chase to get approved for an auto loan, and then you visited your local Suncoast Credit Union to get approved for an auto loan, and they both approved you within that time period. So they do give you that time to shop around for rates, and they do understand that. So it's not going to negatively impact you within that 30-day window. So What you don't want to do is apply for an auto loan, don't purchase a vehicle, wait past 30 days, and then do it again. Then you're going to look at an additional hurt on your FICO score. So, obviously, if you're doing different things, like you're applying for a mortgage and then you're applying for an auto loan, yes, that would be two separate pulls because they're for separate things, right? So a vehicle loan and a mortgage are going to be two different things that will both pull your credit, and you will see a small drop. Now, the good thing about this is that your FICO score will rebound as time goes on, and it doesn't drop your score significantly for one or two credit pulls. Like I said earlier, you just don't want to get to over six pulls within a year, so they will fall off eventually. Now, there are a lot of tricky places out there that'll get you to pull your credit, and you might not realize it. So when I was younger, I would fall into some of these traps. I'd walk into a store and I would, shop as usual, and they would come to me and say, hey, if you fill this application out, you may get an additional 20% off your purchase. Back then, I didn't understand that I was applying for a credit card. So these places can be tricky, and nowadays they've gotten even trickier. So they'll just tell you to fill it out as part of the purchase, especially at some of these, bigger stores like Costco. Actually, I ran in today. They were giving out free bags. They were pretty nice bags, but you would have to fill this out and, almost like an entry to get a bag, but it's really applying for a credit card. So be very careful about these sort of places and stores because, if you don't have this knowledge, you can get yourself into trouble. Now, the last thing we'll talk about are personal credit inquiries, right? These are inquiries that you do yourself. So me personally, on a monthly basis, I probably check my credit, I'd say maybe 15, 20 times. So I use a mobile app called myfico.com. We talked about it earlier. This does not hurt your credit, guys. I mean, I could pull up my credit score and I could look at it 10 times a day and it's not going to hurt me. So these are not going to go against your FICO in any way, shape, or form. Matter of fact, it's encouraged to check your FICO on a regular basis because you want to make sure that no one's pulling your credit without your permission, no one's applying for any loans, and there are no changes that should negatively impact you. So you want to keep an eye on that, and you always want to make sure that you're checking on a regular basis. So I hope that this information helps somebody. This is information you're going to want to share to your family and your children because you want to make sure that they have this knowledge so when they go throughout life, they don't have to walk through some of the same pitfalls that a lot of us have had to walk through. So educate your children, educate your family members, educate your spouse. Let them know if they don't know already. Please share this video if you know someone who has questions about credit or in general just wants to know more. If you guys have any questions about anything we talked about today, please leave it down in the comments below. I'll be more than glad as always to answer any of those questions. And thank you so much for watching this episode of The Evan Phillips Show. You guys enjoy the rest of your day.